Have you ever spent countless hours making a video only for it to not get watched? I mean, you put lots of time and effort into it, made sure you had all the facts correct, but nobody watched it. It may have even been on an extremely popular topic, and you might have given extremely useful information. But even the most interesting topics with the absolute best information can be boring if they're not presented correctly. Just ask anyone who has sat through a college lecture. I know I have fallen asleep through my share of college lectures, and in fact, in a calculus class one time, I fell asleep and the professor got irritated because I fell asleep in his class and he threw a dry erase marker at my head. So, I made it a point not to fall asleep in his class again. But generally, people have short attention spans, and most people would rather get their information in an interesting way rather than a boring and tedious manner, which is exactly why so many people fall asleep in college classes. Also, it's the monotone voice kind of helps as well. But generally, talking head videos don't do super well for the same reason that people fall asleep during lectures, and that's because it gets boring. To accommodate people's short attention span, try to keep your cuts to 3 to 5 seconds in length whenever possible. Also, to make your video more interesting, instead of just looking at your face the whole time, have B-roll. And if you're not familiar with what B-roll is, in the old days of film, they would have the main film reel on the camera that they would shoot the dialogue scenes and whatever else, and that was the A-roll. And then the second roll of film, the B-roll, that would be for the other shots, like the establishing shots, or the shots of somebody walking up, or them picking up a cup, or things like that. So that's where the term B-roll came from. And some people think that to be a real YouTuber or a real filmmaker, you have to have a coffee montage in your video. I mean, just click on any YouTube video and you'll pretty much see a coffee montage. But the important thing with B-roll isn't just that it's shot well. The important thing is that it has to have something to do with your video. If it's the most beautiful B-roll but it has absolutely nothing to do with your video, then nobody's going to care. Now, B-roll can be extremely important in illustrating what you're talking about. And the reason I brought up the thing with the coffee is some people think that, well, they're making a video and they don't know how to make it more interesting because the topic they're talking about isn't super interesting. But you can make anything look interesting if you put enough effort into it. And just as an example, I did some B-roll of me cleaning the cat box. Now, I could say in a vlog that I had to clean the cat box and leave it at that, or I could show this. Or I could show this. Or I could show this.
I'm gonna lose my mind. Not me at this time. Choking on every breath. Tell you that life's not fair. Well, it's not heaven I'm looking for, but I can't take this mess no more. If the water keeps rising high, I won't make it out alive. In over my head, in over my head. In locked up, knocked down, pushed around, scared as hell I might be till I'm dead. In over my head.
Now, you probably noticed that the second two examples were much more interesting than the first, because the first was just a locked off shot on the tripod, not much changed. The second video and the third video, while they were edited different, they had a lot of cuts and they had sound effects and they had music. things that help with making your video not boring is remove distractions in the background if you can, so that people pay attention to what's actually going on. Keep your cuts short whenever possible. Use camera movement if you can without shaking the camera. And the other extremely important thing is to plan out your video so that you know what to shoot, and even make a shot list. Because if you don't know what to shoot, then you're just going to shoot random things, you're going to waste time, and then in the edit you're going to wind up with stuff you don't need, and then you're not going to be able to make an interesting video. So have a plan, and you don't necessarily have to stick with the plan exactly, but have a plan so you know what you're shooting. And that way you make sure you get all the shots you need, and then when you get back to edit, you can make an interesting video with all of the information that's needed, and you can have something to break it up instead of just having people look at your face the whole time. I will, in the near future, have a video on how to shoot good B-roll and some editing techniques and things like that. But that'll be for another video. If you liked this, or if this helped you out in any way, I would appreciate it if you would go click the like button so that other people can find it. And if you are interested in tutorials like this, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when I post new videos. Thanks for watching. Go out and make something amazing.